Today I'm here with Krysta Fuoco. You are listening to and watching Your Palm Beach Guide. I'm Doug Evans, the president and CEO of the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce. And Krysta, who you listened to an episode or watched an episode a few weeks ago with her husband, Lou Fuoco. Krysta is the better half of the Fuoco family, as far as I'm concerned, and Lou will watch this and see that I said that. But Krysta has had an amazing career. She started out as a marketing guru expert for little boutique kind of doctors and lawyers and things. Tell me about that. And good morning. And we're so glad you're here.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah. So I'm born and raised in South Florida, and I learned early on that not everybody had the knack for marketing. Mm-hmm. And so I realized that, and not everybody needed everything, right? And so if I could offer services to professional individuals, boutique style, really kind of just what they needed as they needed it. There wasn't social media at the time. We were still in the world of print. And so I kind of just got my name and it really pound the pavement. I was literally dropping off flyers saying, hi, do you need marketing information? Here, call me. But it worked. So I did that for 4 years.
In downtown West Palm Beach.
Yes.
And you had a lot of good clients at the time.
I had some great clients.
And then the acquisition, you made the acquisition of Lou Fuoco.
Yes, I did.
Which, Lou is always, you're both entrepreneurs, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. You're both entrepreneurs, but that you met this wonderful guy through a client and now have a beautiful family, which is amazing. Two beautiful children, and also a great team around you, both in the entire TFG, the Fuoco Group. You've got so many different companies, business going. But what's most exciting about this, and that I met you about a year and a half ago, I think, at a holiday party.
Yes.
At your house, which was amazing. The Fuocos have the most amazing holiday party every year. It's crazy. But then you decided to buy your own business. And it's so not Fuoco Group. It's a different kind of business. So tell me the journey into this then what it is. Because I know what it is, but I want you to tell us the journey.
It is definitely not Fuoco Group. It is not marketing. It is so far from those norms. But again, just as in anything, there's a relationship there. And so the business is CDRX Pharmacy. It's a compounding pharmacy. We're located in Boca Raton, Florida. And we're actually a client of Fuoco Group's. And they were going through some hardships. And Lou was kind of in the mix with them and saying, let me help you. Obviously, Fuoco does everything they can for their clients. This was a little bit above and beyond that. And so he said, let me get a group of people that can really kind of get you out of this hole and kind of start you fresh.
On a financial services kind of basis.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. I wanted nothing to do with this project. I was like, no, I'm very happy. I had just had my daughter. She's now 6. I was like, no. You go on your way. I'm going to stay right here in my Fuoco accounting world marketing hat on. Thank you very much. And I went down there. COVID hit 2020. It was a crazy time. And by August, September, I was crawling the walls. I was like, get me out of the house. I need to go do something. Sure. I'm crazy, right? And at the time, Lou was involved now with the pharmacy, kind of from a very stand back investor perspective with more help like on the financial kind of guiding side. And they needed some marketing help. So I said, I could do it. Let me go down. And I was sitting in there and I was like, wow, this is, I don't like any of this. And so it's a little bit of a Cinderella story, to be honest with you. I packed up my stuff and I went home that night and I said to Lou, I really don't know if you looked beyond the numbers, but you can't put your name to this. Like we're not in the right mix. Not that we were doing anything wrong. The culture wasn't there. I'm a big people person. My people are everything. And so I said, operationally, they need a lot of help. Marketing's kind of the least of the concerns, but I think you should just kind of pack your bags and run.
Leave them. Get out while you can.
Yeah. And so by April of the following year, I had fallen in love, not only with compounding with the business, but with the people. Yeah. It was really the people. And so by April of the following year, I joined them officially as director of operations.
Wow.
So that was April of 2021.
With no pharmaceutical background.
No pharma background.
Okay.
Nope. Not a pharmacist. No, Advil, Tylenol, basic kind of everything. Yeah. So, but a business is a business, right? And so operations are operations. And we really had a lot of change. We really needed to get rid of get rid of some of the toxic stuff, clean up what we had, identify kind of really who we were and what we wanted to be when we grew up. And so that's what we spent the past 3 years doing.
That's interesting because, you know, when you look at any business, and I am a person who believes in this, you can be taught the content.
Yes.
But a product is a product.
Truly.
And when I say that out loud to some of the listeners and some who are watching say, oh, Doug, that's offensive. You couldn't possibly understand X, Y, and Z. I think about the jobs I've taken on in my life, in my patchwork career. I didn't know how to start a radio station.
Right.
So I just did it though, you know, and I figured it out.
Here we go.
I didn't know how to be a lobbyist.
Yeah.
I figured it out. So with you with CDRX Pharmacy, you knew nothing about pharma, but you had marketing. With your marketing, you started director of operations, and now you own the company?
So yes, I'm one of the owners, and I was titled President CEO just last month.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So CDRX Pharmacy, which is based in Boca Raton, Florida.
Yes.
I've been out there. I was on a tour a couple of weeks ago. And what's fascinating about this is every person you come into contact there with is joyful.
Yeah.
They're joyful. Now, I didn't get to meet the people who are in the hazmat suits in the non-sterile room.
Yeah.
And of course, we're not allowed to go into the sterile room.
Absolutely not.
But you could see the way that they were interacting with each other in there as they were making the compounding and the drugs and stuff like that. They're smiling, they're laughing, they're talking, and they look joyfully to be together. When you call CDRX, you get these wonderful ladies on the phone who are happy and they're customer service oriented. And you know, Krysta, I believe that leadership comes from the top. So what did you employ to change that atmosphere of toxic, as you used, to get this? You've got these people wrapped around your finger in a good way. They're happy.
Well,
how did you do that?
That's my dream come true. Is that, you know, we work together. We're so close. We work so closely as a team. And I think when I came in at the beginning, there was a lot of reservation. I think people were who am I? You know, what's my MO? What am I going to do? Am I going to take their job? Am I going to change the company completely? Are we going to sell it? And so there was a lot of, you know, what is that? That water cooler talk happening, right?
Lots of gossip.
And so I said, you know what? They're going to hear it straight from me. And then that will ease everybody's mind and it'll stop. And I really became a part of their team.
Right.
I sat in the kitchen. I had lunch with them every day. And I was truly transparent. I told them, you know, we would try things and we'd go, okay, 2 of them worked, 1 didn't. But we learned.
Right.
We learned. And so now we move on to the next. And I think the biggest thing was really being transparent in who I am and what my goals were and what my initiatives were. I knew from the start that I did not know everything in the room, but I needed to surround myself with the people that did.
And they did.
The best people that did.
And they did.
Yeah.
And what I found fascinating was, well, I want to hear more about this, is you stepped in and 1 week later.
So 1 week later, one of the business's original founders passed away.
And you're like, okay, there goes the knowledge base.
Right.
But you've got younger employees in there who could transfer some of that to you.
Yes.
So when that happened to you, that moment of recognition, realization that, oh my God, he died. What do I do? What did you do? How did you respond to that?
So we were really mindful to the staff. He was a wonderful, wonderful gentleman, and he was super close with our team. And so we wanted to recognize, we didn't want to scoop it under the rug. We totally wanted to give it time and recognize it. We actually all went to his service. We had a celebration of life specifically for him after, and we really honored him. And a lot of our contacts reached out to us and said, we're so sorry to hear of his passing. You know, what can I do? How can I help? And I actually took them up on it. Oh. And I think I sat on the phone for a week just asking questions. You know, what did he do different than somebody else? What did he, you know, what makes he, because I had only been there a couple weeks really in this role. Right. I'd kind of seen it from a different vantage point, but now I was kind of trying to take on, I wanted to see what they saw, and they being the doctors and the physicians and the clinics that are using the pharmacy for compounding. What made us different? Why are you using us? You know, and some good and some bad. It's a real awakening that you cannot have one sole person be the everything to a business because it could be catastrophic.
No, it's like having 3 leadership employees on the same plane.
Yes. Absolutely.
So you kept talking to current clients, finding out what was good, what was bad.
Yeah.
What could you change? What did they love?
Right.
And you just build upon it, right?
And that's it. And the things that they and they were very honest. I mean, he had a great name in the community. He had been here 30 plus years. And so they were very open and honest, and I'm forever grateful for that. And the things that they told us to improve on, we really dug deeper. Some of it was totally new to me. I'd never been exposed to it before. So not only did I have to take the criticism, I had to learn exactly what it is they were criticizing. But then twofold, I took the part where they were complimentary or why. I took all that good, and I was like, we just have to maximize this as much as we can. And so, it's been a journey, that's for sure.
A good one. You're listening to Your Palm Beach Guide. I'm Doug Evans. I'm the president and CEO of the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce, where it's always sunny and always beautiful and always incredible. I'm with Krysta Fuoco today, who is the president and CEO of CDRX Pharmacy in Boca Raton, Florida. Let's talk product. What kind of compounds do you make? And when I've walked through, I saw all these ingredients,
yes.
like in a professional chef's kitchen, basically. And I saw the shipping department. I saw the customer service department. But then I saw all the stuff. I was there when a shipment came in of stuff in boxes. What are you compounding? What are you making that people would recognize? Not perhaps the technical chemical name or the drug name, but what kind of things are you making? And you also told me that you were making a drug for a young person that had to have it. To survive. So tell me what you make.
Sure.
And then I want to hear the story about this young person and how that rolled out for you also. Because that's the true essence of Krysta Fuoco and the Fuoco family. And because you guys care.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in businesses don't care. It's about transaction, get the money, you get the product, it's great. And then I get the money and you walk away. But talk about what you're making and what they might recognize these things as. Sure. And then I want to talk about this young person a little bit.
So compounding just in pharmacy alone has really kind of blown up in the past 2 to 3 years. Thank you to COVID. Thank you to all these weight loss products that we're seeing out in the market today. We've been doing this since 2004. And so, wow. Yeah, we've been in the mix for a minute, and we do it really well. So compounding pharmacies are not all equal. They're not all the same. And we are very, very proud, not only of our certifications, but of all of our inspections and everything in our facility. We have a state-of-the-art facility. And so not only are we just a compounding pharmacy where you're probably familiar with compounding in terms of creams and testosterone, or maybe you have a special need regarding an allergy or for a child, or a lot of people know of compounding through their animals. So vets, we do a lot. We deal with all your four-legged friends, mainly dogs and cats, but we venture out into all fun things. And so what's really unique about CDRX is that not only are we a non-sterile, we're also a sterile compounding
Thus
lab.
The two laboratories.
Yes. And so when you think of a pharmacy, people usually think of a retail pharmacy that you're walking into, you're picking up, they either
pull the bottles off the shelves, right, they count them out.
Your
kind of
Z-Pack or your blood pressure medicine. We are not that. We are truly think more laboratory. We're actually making it. So just like you can go to the store and buy Tylenol, we're making it because maybe there's something in the capsule that you're allergic to or can't have, or maybe there's an allergy, or maybe the dose is different. And so rather than taking 200 milligrams, you need to take 225. That's not available commercially. So we're able to provide that alternative for you.
That's totally cool.
Yeah. It's
That's totally cool. And so you make weight loss drugs.
We do.
The big names, there's the commercial names, but it's also called semaglutide.
Yes.
And what's the other one?
Tirzepatide.
So, and they're pretty much the same thing?
They're not. They're different. Okay. But right now, the big push is compounding. And the biggest thing with compounding, other than having a need, meaning, an allergy, a dose form, something like that, or how it's delivered, we change a lot of deliverables. So if you have a medicine that's in a pill form and you prefer to take it orally, in a liquid, we can change that. We can turn it into a gummy. We can turn it into a dissolvable. We can turn it into, it's actually something very cool. It's called a sprinkle. Comes in these, and you just sprinkle it on top of your yogurt or your applesauce.
And you told me that somebody had a child that would not take medicine, right?
Yes.
And I believe they had a specific challenge
they did.
With the child.
Yeah, he had severe allergy to the point that he could not take a very common, I want to say it was like an antibiotic, something
Sure.
mainstream that all your pediatricians are going to prescribe. And there was something in it that he was highly allergic to. And it was literally a matter of death. Like he couldn't take this medicine, but he needed something. And so not only were we able to give it to him, I mean, as a mom, I know that you pull out the medicine jar and your kids see purple or orange or pink and they're cringing and they're crying before they even take it. They're not even crying about the symptoms. They're just crying about the medicine to take. And so we told the mom, we're like, let us do it in this sprinkle form. You can give him ice cream and, you give it in a little cup. You want to make sure all of it's eaten. And it was the coolest thing. And so mom had no problems and he got his medicine and everybody lived happily ever after.
I love that.
And that's one of hundreds of stories that we have.
Well, that's amazing. And you also saved an animal, I hear.
We did.
Tell me what happened with this. I heard about this about 3 or 4 months ago, but tell me the story because I want to know about this because this is the CEO and president of a compounding pharmacy in Boca Raton, Florida, CDRX to be exact. And what happened? What was this animal situation?
So it was really bizarre. There was a rescue up in Jupiter that had, I think, overnight gotten dropped off a koala bear that had been seriously injured.
Who has a koala bear at home?
Right? Who has a koala? Like, who has a koala bear?
Really?
How many people want to pet a koala bear? Like, I mean, dreams.
I'd like to pet one.
Dreams come true. And
but not in my house.
I know, right? And so we get this phone call from this frantic rescue up in Jupiter. And they were like, we have this koala bear. We really, it's do or die. Where we traditionally get our medicine from, they're not going to be able to get it to us until tomorrow. And that's too late. We have no options. He's got, hours to live. And so they got on the phone with one of my pharmacists. So we have 4 in-house. They all have very different areas of expertise. Mm-hmm. And so he happens to be our formulary compounding master.
For koalas.
And so, now for koalas. And so they got on the phone. And as they were on the phone, they had already put him in the back of their vehicle and were driving to us. And so that we were able to compound it, make it on site. And they literally pulled into the driveway, into the parking lot, and everybody is still here happily
Where's
ever
the
after.
koala bear now?
He is living his best life. I want to say he's in a zoo.
Okay.
But he was able to be rehabbed and kind of, he's good as gold now.
It's fascinating because when you think of South Florida, there's all the turtle rescue groups.
Yes.
And these turtles are injured.
Yes.
And they're sick and they bring them back to life at Loggerhead and places
Absolutely.
like that. And I'm sure they know about you because they have to have animal drugs. Yeah. I'm fortunate that I have a kitten who's 4 years old and he's healthy right now.
Yeah.
But, I would be the kind of person to say, this is what's wrong. So we need to do and where we need to go. And, it's hyper expensive sometimes.
It is.
Now I took out cat insurance.
Yeah.
Cat health insurance when I got him.
Which is great.
I pay $200 a year for cat health insurance because
there you go.
If you basically take your cat in and there's some surgical need, it could be thousands of dollars.
Right.
So I'll be out $500 basically when it's all. But the important thing is I want my cat to be healthy and to live.
Yes.
So that you handle koala bears, you handle children, you handle adults.
Yeah.
What's next for CDRX? What's the future? What's your big dream, your big plan for CDRX? I mean, I don't know the bottom line, but it's a huge success right now. But what's the next step? What's the future?
I love that question. And I tend to dream really, really big and I really shoot for the stars.
Good.
So really the mission of CDRX right now is access and innovation. We really want the community to have access to these drugs, whether it's a need or a want. So yes, we do all the necessary, but then we do all the fun stuff too. We're known for hormones. We've been living in the BHRT world for years.
Sure.
We go all the way down to derm. We specialize in sexual health and wellness, which, hey,
That's
everybody,
huge.
It's huge. It's huge. And everybody needs help at some point or time.
Sure.
And we're there for them. But then the innovation. Healthcare is changing rapidly. And CDRX is really at the forefront of making sure that the patients have access to these drugs and that it's the latest and greatest and that we're providing the highest quality. We test everything that comes out of our facility. I have to sleep very well at night. And, it's a scary world. Like I said, not all pharmacies are created equally. I have an amazing team and they make sure it's done right.
Well, I know that CDRX is in the top percentage.
We are.
Of leadership in compounding pharmacies. I know you had a spot inspection this week.
Yes.
Did they just show up?
They do.
Okay, good.
Monday morning, 9 a.m.
Good. They show up unannounced. I love that
Yeah.
because the reality is where you said you have to sleep at night. You and I talked about this when I was visiting you. I'm old enough to remember the Tylenol scare.
Right.
And we
Yes.
saw people dying, I think in Chicago or
Oh my
somewhere
gosh,
like
it was
that.
horrific.
And we all had to go and just dump them out, and
Yeah.
just flush them down the toilet or whatever, because, somebody tampered with it.
Right.
But I know for a fact, because I've watched, we talk about, everything that's going out your door.
Yes.
It's been tested, and that when you sent that product out, it's perfect.
Yeah.
What happens after that, nobody can control. Like the Tylenol people,
Right.
they couldn't control it.
Yeah.
But the reality is you sleep at night because you say, when I sent that out, it was totally, absolutely perfect. Yeah. And so for people who are listening and watching CDRX Pharmacy, you're going to get quality.
Absolutely.
And you've got the woman here who's in charge, who I know sleeps at night,
Yes.
except when the kids are sick.
Exactly.
But, Krysta Fuoco is amazing with this. So do you have a website?
We do, cdrxpharmacy.com.
That's easy, cdrxpharmacy.com.
And we're on Instagram, Facebook, all your social media.
Super.
But we love, come in, pop in, say hi. We love to give tours. We're very proud of who we are and what we have. Our facility is amazing. And, every day we have visitors and company, and I love it.
Well, I can say, as somebody who's been there, and I know you personally, if you're using a compounding pharmacy, for those of you listening and watching, consider CDRX, because when you go, if you're here in South Florida and you're using another compounding pharmacy and you want to just check out to see what they do, because I think this segment especially is a learning opportunity. It's a teachable moment for people who use compounding pharmacies to find out what the difference is between CDRX and everybody else.
Yeah.
I would say call them. Go to the website, go in for a tour.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to get your semaglutide from Krysta instead, or something else that they might have. If you've got a little one who has a drug allergy, discuss it with them, because if you can do sprinkles on top of ice cream or peanut butter and jelly or something, flavored, non-flavored, this is true innovation.
Yeah.
And I love this. So it's amazing. Krysta, thank you for being here today. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for buying CDRX, for goodness sake. I'm a fan. And you ship nationwide, right?
We are licensed medically in 23 states, but we have a great line of supplements and all kinds of products. So we really do, we care about the whole person. And so we can ship all of those to all 50 states.
Well, I take your vitamins now, so it's amazing me. So you've been listening to Your Palm Beach Guide. I'm Doug Evans, the president and CEO of the Palm Beach Chamber of Commerce. If you've not been to Palm Beach, use this as an opportunity to come visit us. It's gorgeous. It's sunny 330 days a year. It's a beautiful, beautiful little town. Lots to see, lots to do. The ocean's great. But as head of the Chamber of Commerce, I can always promise you, Chamber of Commerce, good weather. And if it's bad for an hour, it'll be better after that. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week on Your Palm Beach Guide. Make it a great day.